Hello, welcome to your top to toe tone. If we haven't met before, my name is Emma. I am a Pilates instructor who happens to be registered blind. So I have my guide dog Archie in the studio most times with me, hey? So you might hear him pitter-pattering around or walking past the camera. So yeah, get a little bit of space and that, and let's get ready to tone. Okay, so when you're ready, are you gonna stay there, are you? We're going to shuffle right to the front of our mat. My legs are going to be a little bit wider because I have my guide dog stealing half the mat. But you're going to take your feet so they are flat on the mat, knees are bent, the legs and the feet are not too close, but they're not too far away. And your feet are about a fist distance apart. Wrap the hands around the back of the legs and let's sit nice and tall. Feeling that length going through the spine, the shoulders, dropping away from the ears. And just take a moment to take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing out through the mouth. Maybe closing down the eyes and having a quick little scan of the body. Start to breathe wider, fuller into the rib cage as you pull your belly button away from your clothing. And on your next exhale, with the eyes closed or open, it's up to you. Start to roll back towards the mat, tucking your tailbone under, scooping back, not scrunching up the shoulders, not hanging the head back, a slight little tuck. And let's feel those abdominals pulling in, rolling the hips in towards us, and feel like your feet are pressing down into sand. When you're ready, keep that curve as you pull on the legs slightly, use your abs. Once the shoulders go over the hips, can we sit tall and do a little extension? So this is not the head dropping back, this is a little extension through the upper back. And then we round back again and we scoop, grounding the feet into the mat, into our little curve. We start to come up, he's using my feet as a pillow now, and we sit nice and tall, a little extension. Try it with the arms reaching in front at about shoulder height, thumbs facing up, and you might be able to go a little bit lower. And then when we come up, take the hands behind the back of the head to do your little extension, which I really struggle with because I'm really rounded through the shoulders, or I say really slightly. As you roll back down, the arms reach in front, and then we take them behind the head. I'm just going to adjust the mic slightly because I feel like I'm tapping on the mic every time I reach the arms. So as we come up, we sit tall. Can we now sit tall? After we've done our little extension, can we twist to the side with the hands behind the head, come back to center, roll back down, reach the arms in front as you scoop, and then come up, sit nice and tall, hands behind the head, or maybe they're behind the legs to do your extension. Come back to a nice lengthened spine twist to the other side. Come back to center, and we reach back again, grounding the feet. Just keep flowing through whichever one feels best for you, adding that rotation if you want to. Remembering each time to twist to the other side. And twist. So you can either stay with this, otherwise on the next roll down, we're going to roll down and hold. As we hold, keep tucking the pelvis under, keep scooping. And we're going to go from tapping the hands behind the head to reaching them back in front whilst we keep this scoop. So feeling those abdominals really pulling in. Good, then you can add a bit more. We can tap the hands behind the head. We can twist over to the right. Come back to center, reach the arms back in front. Take the hands back behind the head. We're gonna twist just the upper body to the left. Come back to center, reach. You can always come up, have a breather, stretch the legs out. You might want to keep them there. My hip flexors tend, excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't give him a mat to lay on the other side of the room, so he's like, where's my mat? Good. Okay, when you're ready, stay here for me, keep reaching, reach the arms in front, and then slowly roll yourself all the way back onto your forearms. So if this is really uncomfortable, lay flat on your back. We don't want to sink into the shoulders, so press the shoulders away from the ears. Make sure the back is nice and lengthened. Head is not hanging back. Send energy through those arms. We're going to lift one leg to tabletop, where our shin goes parallel to the ceiling, knee is on top of the hip, and then we slowly place it down. See if you can hold onto the pelvis, switch to the other side, and do that without the pelvis moving at all. And I want you to imagine you're on a thin layer of ice. So you don't want to break it, you don't want to slide, you're really gentle as you move. This movement's coming right from the top of the leg. Just coming into this lovely march almost. Lift your right leg into that right angle, shin parallel to the ceiling. Can you lift the second leg up? If this feels too much, go back to the one we just did and let's tap down and lift. So the further you tap your foot away from you with the knee still staying in a right angle, the more challenging. If you need to tap the foot a little closer, that's okay. We're not sinking into the shoulders, we're not arching through the back. Okay, let's add a little bit more. So on the next one, instead of tapping down, we're going to reach nice and long with the leg. The longer you take it, the more challenging, and then we pull back in. And then we go to the other side. We reach long as the other leg stays in the right angle, other leg lengthens. Now, can we add opposite arm to leg? We reach the opposite arm in front, so about the height of the bent leg. We bring it back to the forearms as the leg comes in. We switch. This is very much about balance and control. We're reaching the opposite arm to leg. Arm reaches out in front at shoulder height. Leg can go lower or a little bit higher. Let's go one more time each side, pulling that belly button in towards the spine. Good. Keep the legs up, squeeze the legs together, roll down onto your back and open your arms out to the side like an aeroplane. Let the back of the hands, the back of the head, the back of the shoulders melt into this warm sand as you squeeze the legs together. If you need the feet on the floor, that's okay. When you're ready, we're leading from the pelvis, so let the pelvis tip over to the side. Upper body stays glued on the mat. The slower, the lower you tip, the more you'll feel this. And then on the exhale, pull back up and go to the other side. If the feet are down, you're just simply rolling onto the outside of the foot you're tipping towards and pull back up. And I want you to feel a little gap underneath the back of the neck and the lower back. I want you to feel as you tip to the side, the opposite side of the rib cage and the arm anchoring down, almost feeling this little stretch as you tip. Keep feeling the inner legs pulling together. We're just going to go one more time to each side. And we pull back up and over to the other side. We pull back up, and then when you're ready, place one foot down at a time. Maybe come into a full body stretch, reaching from your fingertips to your toes. But then let's keep moving. Let's bend the knees. Have the feet pressed into the mat, heels underneath the knees. Again, feet are about hip distance, a fist distance. Stretch those arms back out into aeroplane. Feeling the back of the hands pressing into the mat. When you're ready, flatten the back, roll your hips towards you and feel the belly button pulling in. This is not the legs, this is not the glutes. And then release. So I just want you to think about those abs pulling in. Maybe you can peel up a little more this time. The tailbone starts to come up, the lower back, and then we roll down. So maybe close your eyes to feel the movement. Let both hip bones come up at the same level. Maybe this time we roll all the way up. We flatten our back. We feel the tailbone peeling off of the mat, the lower back, the middle back, the upper. Now start to feel the glutes and the legs kicking in to lift you that little higher. Feel the arms reaching a little longer out to the side, and then we slowly roll down from the upper back to the middle. Press those arms into the floor, the lower back. We're up to a flat back, and then we come back to a natural curve. Let's go again. So if you find your knees are knocking, maybe place a pillow between the knees. We come up. Good. Once you reach into your bridge, can you stretch your arms in towards one another above your head? Open them back out to the side, press them into the mat, and then slowly roll down through the spine, bone by bone. Then we go again, rolling all the way up, peeling like a sticker, bone by bone, off of the mat. Once you're in that bridge, we squeeze the arms above the chest towards the ceiling. We open them back out. We press them into that warm sand out to the side, and we roll down. On the next one, we're going to see if we can stay lifted. So roll all the way up through the spine, press through the feet. We come all the way up. We let the arms hover above the chest, palms face towards one another, fingertips facing up. As we roll onto the outside of the right foot, let the knee open and squeeze back. We then go to the other side. Can you hear doggy's arch? And as we do this, we try not to move. Now, the rest of the body. When you're ready, we're now going to do right leg goes to the side as the right arm falls down to the floor, to the side, and we squeeze back in. So opposite arm to leg. Now, if you need your hips down and you need to do this with the hips on the floor, that's okay. This is a lovely coordination exercise where we're rolling, opening the knee. Opposite arm reaches out to aeroplane. We come back. Let's go one more time to each side. Try to stay up. I am tipping. And the other side. Squeeze back. When you're ready, open back to aeroplane. We're rolling all the way down through the spine, bone by bone. Hug the knees into the chest. Have a little rock from side to side, back and forth. Good. Roll over onto your side. And what we're going to do, we're going to tuck the legs behind us. So we're going to have the feet aligned. So bend your knees so the feet aligned, or the soles of the feet aligned with the back of the mat. Your hips are lined up, and your hand is going to be just in front of the hips, almost pointing your fingertips towards the front corner of the mat, if that makes sense. So your elbow is pointing back diagonally behind you. So make sure you're not rolling off of the hips. Really important, the hips are stacked, waist is lifted. Roll your shoulders back and down. Other arm, up to you, you can have it by your side. From here, we're going to bend the elbow of the arm we're leaning on. Let the elbow go back behind you as you lower, and then exhale high, push back up. Archie's demonstrating a lovely down dog. High, lower, bend through the elbow and push back up. So what we're doing here, we are working the triceps. That's the microphone. As we bend the elbow back behind us. That's what you wanted. And push back up. So you're trying to not sink through the rest of the body. On the next one, let the elbow come all the way down and let the elbow now line up with the back of the mat. So your forearms down and the fingertips point forwards. Really lift up through the waist. Top hand can go on the hip. He's trying his hardest to stand. Mum, stroke my belly. I want you to imagine you've got a drink placed on the top of your hip. And when you're ready, you're going to lift your hips up like you're trying to lift that drink towards the ceiling, not sinking into the shoulder. Shoulders right, or elbows right underneath your shoulder, and then slowly lower down. We're only doing 3 of these because the last one we're going to hold it. We're going to lift up again, send that drink towards the ceiling, lifting your hips. And slowly lower. Legs are still tucked behind you. On this last one, lift all the way up. Reach your arms towards the ceiling, that top arm, and then see, can you tuck that arm underneath your waist? Look over your shoulder and twist the upper body. And then reach back to where we started, arm reaching up. And we go again for 2. Twisting, looking underneath, over your shoulder rather. And reach up, hips are lifted. And last one. And then we lift, reach all the way up, drop the hips down, and let's go to the other side. So we swivel round. We're going to bend the knees, so the legs, the soles of the feet align with the back of the mat, the hips align with the back of the mat, but the hand is pointing to the diagonal just in front of you. The elbow is slightly pointing back behind you. Roll the shoulders back and down. We're going to bend the elbow, and then we're going to push back up. So we're subtly working into that tricep as we bend and push back up. We go again, we bend the elbow, let the elbow bend back to the diagonal behind us and push up. Let's go one more time. I'm sliding on the mat. This time, push up. And then the next one, we lower all the way down. Elbow lines with the back of the mat this time. Elbows right underneath your shoulder. Drink is balanced on your hip, and you're going to see if you can lift that drink up towards the ceiling. Feeling that work going through your waist and your shoulder, and then slowly tap down. We go again, lift. Pushing all the way up. We slowly lower down. On this next one, we're going to stay lifted, lift the hips up, reach that top arm towards the ceiling. Tuck it underneath, look over your shoulder as we twist the upper body, not the lower body, and then we reach all the way back up. We go again for 2. And lift up, really lifting through those hips. We got last one. And then we reach up. We lower the hips down. And we bring ourselves for the final bit over onto our front. So we're nearly there. So we're now going to be on the hands and knees. Hands spread nice and wide underneath the shoulders. Knees underneath the hips. So I'm just checking the microphone. Make sure you've got a nice flat back here. So we want to stay nice and, you know, steady through the spine. We're not sinking, we're not arching. We're going to draw our right leg nice and long back behind us, and we're going to tuck those toes under. From there, roll onto the inside of that right foot. Twist your upper body while the left leg stays exactly where it is, and reach that arm and the rest of the body up to the ceiling. Little bit of balance challenge here. Place the hand back to the floor, swivel back onto the balls of the feet of that back leg, and then the left leg that's still on the floor, step it back into a plank, or if you need to drop the knees, that's okay. Hold it here briefly, then drop the right knee to the floor. We swivel onto the outside of the left leg that's now lengthened, and we open the arm up to the ceiling. We place that hand back down to the floor, we swivel back to the balls of the feet, we slide the right leg back, we're in plank. We then drop the left knee under the hip. Right leg is lengthened. We swivel and we open out. Oh my gosh, this is really testing my balance. We swivel back. We step into plank. We go to the other side. Now, if you want to add a little bit last extra bit of challenge, we're going to open, swivel to the side. And then you're going to take the leg that's still bent and slide it back behind the other leg so both legs are lengthened in a side plank. You then swivel to plank on your front, you stay in plank, and you simply swivel and twist your whole entire body to the other side, reaching the other arm up. You go to plank, and you just keep switching from side to side. Either way, I'm gonna breathe. We are twisting. One more time to each side. We are working the upper body, we are working the abs, we are working the waist, everything, legs. And then last one, soften the knees down, sit back towards the heels. Have a well-deserved stretch back. Give the wrists a little rotate. And take a moment just to breathe. Maybe bring the knees apart, feet together. And just take a couple final deep breaths in. And exhales out. From there, roll all the way up, sit nice and tall, roll the shoulders back and down. And you are done. So I hope you like the extra addition of my guide dog being involved there as well. But I'm going to leave some stretches on the screen now that I suggest that you go and do and chill out with some stretches. But other than that, subscribe if you haven't already, like the video if you enjoyed it, and please leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you found it or what you'd like to see next. Other than that, have an amazing day, and I'll see you next week for another one. Take care. Bye. Cheeky boy.